Oh yeah, what's going on YouTube? Ascend CTF, tips with TeeP, let's spawn in and get right into this map. Once again, Ascend. Walking through all these CTF maps, I'm going to be preaching one thing, and that's going to be creating the most consistency as possible on CTF so that these scrappy situations, the weird little stalemates that happen quite often on this game due to the speed, do not happen to you and your team. Basically, this is one of the more, I would say, difficult maps because it relies on a lot of improvisation from you and your teammates to get control and block spawns and make them spawn consistently where you want them to be on the map to get these easy and clean flagpoles out. There's a lot of cuts, there's a lot of turns, there's a lot of different sort of ways you can go with a sub and with overclock. It's very hard to keep track of everyone on this map. But if hopefully some of these tips can help you guys out and give you sort of a more general idea of what are the strong sides, weak sides of the map, etc., and the ones that you want to hold for the best of your ability. So, getting right into it, it's up to you and your makeup of your players on your team, whether you want 2 BALs or 1 BAL, 3 ASMs, you know, whatever sort of setup you want to have. Maybe even 3 BALs if you really rely on your sub player getting behind them and sneaking those flags out to the best of his ability. Anyways, you definitely want a BAL guy, someone more stationary, posted up either at this back maze, watching the bottom, or just holding this top elevators or lift, whatever you guys want to call it, on this side of the map, to making sure that they're not flanking through this bottom, and overall just getting control of your maze. You never want players roaming around this maze area because it's a very easy way to sneak and get an access point to your flag and get your flag out, and that's what you want to try and prevent. So, making sure that you're controlling this middle ramp area, this bottom, and never letting them get control of your maze in a perfect situation is what you want to have. However, the player on this side of the map needs to be very careful that he doesn't get too aggressive on this elevator side to the top gold, because you want the other team to be spawning at this back gold area, making them either rotate back to their flag or up here to try and get out of their base and regain middle and elevators control and getting to yours. So, you guys need to make sure they're not pushing too far and maybe cutting middle, getting to their ramps, to making sure that this spawn isn't blocked and they keep spawning here. If they do keep spawning here, your flag guy is going to have a much easier time getting around their tunnel side, getting to their base, and getting those clean flagpoles. Your other 2 players need to work together at this middle map, making sure that they're not controlling these middle cuts, the top stairs at tunnels, top tunnel steps, or overall just around here, making sure that they're just focusing primarily on slaying and not getting to their base unless the kills go down in their favor. Your last guy needs to make sure he's doing a good job, and once again, this role is going to rotate depending on how many submachine guns you're going to have on the map, but your other guy needs to make sure he's putting pressure at these tunnels and maybe even sneaking around, getting their flag, and making sure that these clean pulls are happening very quickly and precisely when kills do go down in your team's favor. So, I think if you do get around to their flag over here, you are set up for this sneak. You get the kills, and your guy is ready to pull. The safest way to pull it is use these crates as cover and to your advantage, and either A, slide dash over and get behind these crates so you cannot get shot at from the guys that are rotating back to top gold here and at the back alleyway over there, or the quicker, more effective pull if you get the kills quickly is to simply pull it, hug the walls, slide dash into tunnels, and they really have no chance to shoot you if you're quick enough and you're dashing left and right and using the speed of the exo abilities to your advantage. Either one of those pulls work, and it's dependent on the situations, whether if you have a guy posted up at this ramp blocking these guys back here, but if you know a guy is going to be posted up watching the flagpole happening here, you need to take the shorter route because he has no angle on you. But if the guy is already out gold watching you right here, then the jump over the wall might be the better push because you can make it around using all of these green crates for cover. So your perfect setup is to make them spawn at that back gold. But if it's a scrappy situation, you need to overextend and get to their gold side. The spawns that they're going to be getting are either at this front tunnels area or this back right, or up on their ramp if you have more than one spawn block. Those spawns are really iffy and happen if you're blocking more than one, so make sure that you're not blocking more than this back right and the back gold, because things just get silly. You spawn back here, so let's say you send your fly guy on a flanking route through this back gold. He calls the sneak, he calls that he gets behind them, and he's just posted up waiting for kills to go down. Your flag guy needs to realize that when those guys die, when they come off respawn, that they're going to be spawning at the back right here. So, perfect situation, I'll summarize once again, is pulling through tunnels, going all the way back around and capping it back there through this easy route. But if your flag runner guy knows that this spawn is going to be blocked due to the route that he's taking, he needs to be smart enough to realize that they're going to be spawning over here and just take the gold route, taking it to elevators while he trusts your teammates to get those cutoffs at the middle of the map. It really is dependent, and there's just overall a lot of improvisation on this map due to all the twists and turns and cuts that are going to be needed. It's just a lot of coordination overall, so it's going to be up to your submachine gun players that have the speed and ability to get around anywhere pretty quickly to make those intelligent plays and get the flags out as soon as possible. So you take these flags, you either go the long way, you can cut middle, you dash it in, and bang, you can dash it in like that. Easy flags. This is definitely the better side of the map because it's much easier for you to manipulate their spawn, in my opinion, and you just have way clearer access points to their flag and have cover once you pull it out due to all these green crates at this back sort of crane area. Once again, I'm explaining perfect situations. It's going to get scrappy. It's how CTF is in this game, to the crazy speeds. So just, use your tacticals to your advantage. Let's say I get to their flag here. I know they're spawning. It's very easy to just pop a stun like that and get this flag out before they have a chance to even get in a gunfight with me. Pop the overclock. And like I said, I don't even have it overcharged on. My overclock's going to let me get back to this area very, very, very fast and just go for these easy flag pulls. Side is pretty straightforward. It's all about making sure that they're not getting control of your bottom maze from elevators over here and to the bottom bridge. So you guys need to realize when a guy is possibly behind you and slow up your flag runs depending on those situations. This side is definitely easier, so I'm going to try and spend more time talking about what to do on this bad side. And it's going to be very reliant on your players playing slow to make sure that the other team can never get a touch on their flag, because if they do, it's going to be tough for you to get it back because they have such easy access points. So like I said before, on Biolab CTF, you want to counter their tunnel push and making sure that they're not sneaking behind you. Now, I'm not saying have a guy posted up at their tunnels, because the main spawn you want them to get on this side to create the most consistency, in my opinion, is to force them to spawn at this front tunnel right here. If you're getting control of their back left base over there, they're going to be spawning up right here, and then they're forced to make the decision whether they want to rotate back through their tunnel alley, push up to top middle to try and get back from their top ramp area, or simply overextend and try and get control of your base. So I think that's what creates the most consistency. When you are making the other team make those drastic decisions and separating themselves across the map, that's where you're going to end up, taking control and make them make mistakes. And that's what the goal of CTF is, to get those clean flag pulls and then forcing them to do something that they don't want to do, making it easier on you and your teammates. So, like I said, your main goal on this side is to have submachine gun pressure, maybe along with a bow looking over them at the back elevators, but you really need to try and get up to this maze area, get these kills, and then you have an easy access point to get their flags and pull it out the same way you came. You definitely want to take the flag the same route. You never really want to pull it tunnels, but I'll explain the situation in more detail when you do have to pull it tunnels, because it is a viable option in certain situations if you do want to end up blocking that spawn. The most consistent way, though, is getting control of this middle maze, sending those sneaks, going underground, doing what you need to do to get your sub player over here in their base, set up for a pull, and then once the kills get down, pinch together at this elevator side, making sure that they're not have any control of this side, and pull the flag out easily at the tunnels. Once you do get this flag out on the elevator side of the map, your other players need to be very aware that your flag guy is not going to be getting flanked. So, let's say you get the flag out and they are getting this spawn like you want them to do. Like I said, they have three options. The one that is most threatening to your flag guy is actually going through the underground here, getting to this bottom tunnel at the bottom elevator alley, and simply dash jumping up. It's a very quick route to do, and if your flag guy doesn't know it's coming, it's going to be a very hard gunfight for him to win in general. So you need to make sure that they cannot easily flank from the bottom bridge and from this top middle, getting through these middle cuts and flanking him from the elevator alley right here. Once those 2 cuts are prioritized by you and your teammates, it's safe to say that your last guy should be posted up at this back gold or back crane over here, simply spotting the guys at the overextend. There's many spots where you can spot these guys trying to get behind you, and you can see them coming in and crossing to the back left or coming through this tunnel hallway right here. You really want to set your get your bow players set up a little bit closer so that he is able to spot them and kill as many as possible while you're getting that clean flag run. And it's all about your flag guy knowing when to slow it up and when to go as fast as possible to get that flag in before they're able to contest at all. Once again, this is the bad side of the map, in my opinion, so it is okay to maybe play for a 0-0, but you really need to send your sub players up and take control of the middle of the map. Otherwise, they're just going to use the good side to their advantage, force you at this back gold spawn, and it's just not going to be a good time at all for you, to put it simply. Now, I'm going to explain, this is sort of a higher level route, if you want to call it, and it's really reliant on your sub player knowing how to sneak, knowing when to fight gunfights, knowing when to go fast, and how the situation is going. So let's say it's a very stalemate sort of situation. No flags are going down. It's a 0-0 game. You can definitely send your sub guy on this weak side of the map, sneak behind them, and getting to their tunnel alley over here, getting to the back of your base. When you do this, you need to realize that the spawns will be blocked, but it's only good to do this when all players on the map are alive. As soon as you get to this back area, your guy needs to wait either back here or just simply laying, using all of these walls to his advantage, waiting for kills to go down, and then once they happen, you never really want to pull it back to tunnels, to be honest. But let's say, once again, your team's getting overran at their base, they're getting that flag out, and you just don't feel confident. You can easily pull this flag and take it back towards tunnels. Your team should be able to get back over here, but if they spawn gold, you can always go bottom, and it's going to be up to your flag runner at this point to buy time for your teammates and just use these many corners and buildings and short alleyways to buy as much time as possible while your team is able to get back out of gold and get your help on those cutoffs. So, like I said, you don't want to do this too often because you don't want to block that spawn that you want them to have over there at the tunnel alley. But in certain situations, you can have some sort of improvisation, and that's what's so great about the game type of CTF and why I feel like I thrive on it. There's certain situations, that sort of in-game intuition that you get after years of playing this game type, where you just know when a certain sneak is going to work, how the other team is aggressing on the map, and you can get to their base, wait for kills, or just play it extremely fast and just make them look back in your base. One last sort of tip I want to give before I end this tips with TeeP on Ascend CTF is what to do to keep your lead. So let's say you go up 2-1 and there's about 2 minutes left and you're on bad side. You do not want to ever turtle in your base on CTF. Sure, you're able to do it a little bit better due to the movement. It's much easier to stay alive on this side, but turtling is never the best option. Let's say you get the 4 down. You really need to assert yourself on the map and keep sending your submachine gun players over to their flag. So let's say I sneak behind them. We still have a lead. There's no point in sneaking out at that point. You already have a lead. So I would just instantly take their flag and jump on this top building and make them worry about it, if that makes sense. You don't necessarily need to go for this flag cap, but if you have the flag out of their base, you know deep down they're going to have at least one or two guys rotating back to try and stop that flag run because they are desperate and they are the ones that need to make a comeback. While the rest of your teammates just hold middle map and sort of leave that guy out to dry. It doesn't really matter if you get that flag, but if you do end up getting the kills, that guy has the flag in his hands already and can make the flag run out depending on the situation and how the kills code down. I'm just trying to emphasize that you do not turtle in your base because that is how you get comeback on CTF. You don't change your style of play, you keep the aggression, and you keep the other team worrying about their base so they don't have the confidence to push towards yours, and that's how you retain the lead. That's going to do it for me here on Tips with TeeP on Ascend CTF. Lots of talking once again. And once again, I'm just trying to focus on creating consistency for you and your team to make these maps as least random as possible. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video or if you learned something, and leave your feedback if you didn't like it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed Tips with TeeP. Retreat CTF will be coming up soon, and I'll see you guys later. League matches tonight once again. Have a good day, guys. Tips with TeeP is over. Peace.